Good afternoon and welcome to the Entrepreneurs Live Show. I'm David Orphan, your host, and this afternoon we're gonna absolutely rock the world for you. Guys, we are privileged to have a very dynamic, very bubbly, very awesome person with us tonight. And I can't wait to introduce her. I want to introduce Linda Dent to you from Just Ask Linda. And she is gonna blow your mind, people. Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, David. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Oh man, and the pleasure's all ours. I can't wait. This morning I was sitting here like, yay, I'm gonna interview Linda. I'm so excited. You're just one of those people when we meet you, it's like, oh wow, I want to know more. I want to know more, and I want to know more. So Linda, I'm gonna give you the opportunity now. Share with us, who is Linda? Where do you come from?
Right.
What's your plan?
Cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I go back to 50 years ago. I was born in Yorkshire in England.
Oh wow.
I no longer have the full accent, although I'm sure some of your listeners will disagree. There's definitely some Britishness still about me. I still love my cup of tea in the morning, and tea solves all problems. But yeah, I grew up in Yorkshire. I went to school there, and in the 80s, I emigrated to Johannesburg, South Africa. And that's where I've been ever since. I've married a South African. I have two beautiful daughters, Lauren and Morgan, who are in their 20s and working already. And I spent 35 years in the banking industry.
Oh wow.
So very boring. But would you believe, at the age of 12, I walked into a banking hall in England, in Yorkshire, with my grandfather, and I said to him, one day I will be a banker. And he looked at me at the age of 12 and said, well, we'll see. But I love maths. I enjoy numbers very much. And what I learned, I enjoy doing things like crossword puzzles and jigsaw puzzles. And so very much a thinking person, very left-brained. I don't know if that's the left for you. But I'm very much a thinker and a planner and to-do lists and things like that. But the banking world was great for me. I had the privilege of being sent to university at Wits University in Johannesburg full time, fully paid to do a
Wow.
BCom degree. And once I'd finished a degree, I was able to be on an accelerated training program. Eventually working in the corporate banking side of banking, as well as to some extent the lending. So this is where I've got a lot of my experience. Working with different aspects of companies, working with the financial directors in particular, but having the opportunity to view the manufacturing operations and to get a really general, solid grounding of how business works. So one day, a couple of years ago, I decided that I'd had enough of banking.
Oh my.
it, it was time for a change. And that change took a while. It took a while to figure out. I never thought of myself as an entrepreneur, let's put it that way. I thought I would, retire in the banking world. It was how things were when you started working back in the time that I did. So that's what I thought. And suddenly, a couple of years ago, I thought, no, 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 hang on. I started having conversations with people, lots of conversations, like, where am I going from here? What are the
Yes.
opportunities? You could go up the ladder, you could become a director, you could really, just do that. But money started to be less of an object for me as well. I was going, now, the greed and the power and the constraints of a corporate life were starting to really get to me. So, having spoken to a few people, lots of really great people, types of coaches, it came just sort of like that eureka moment that now I should get into business coaching,
Oh
and that's what I've
wow.
been for 2 years. and really, just loving the entrepreneurial life. It's the freedom, the independence to do what you want to do and to help others. That's really the bottom line for me now.
Oh man, that's quite awesome. Being a banker, oh man, I'll take my hat off. I think you like one of those that say, "Oh, I want to be a banker," and then you get those other people like, "I want to be a bank robber." So yeah, no man, I take my hat off. Anybody working in the banking industry, I take my hat off. It's I've got friends working there, and I know it's stressing, it's tiring, and people don't appreciate bankers the way they should. So kudos to you for that. So awesome, man, awesome. Now, Linda, I know your business is called Just Ask Linda. I want to know more about it because your name already intrigued me. Because I mean, just ask. I'm gonna ask. What is that about?
Thank you for asking. I love to share this story as well because as a new business owner, it's vital that you start to establish a differentiating brand from the early days. I could, my initials are LJ. I could have said LJ Dent Consulting. It just doesn't have a ring to it. So I went through an exercise with some help on identifying what my strengths were, and specifically finding out, what kind of characteristics that you can identify Linda with. And, amongst others, it came out, well, looking back over my sort of career and history, not just career, but life, it came suddenly to me that whenever, I'm a what do you call it, like a lifelong learner.
Yes.
And also I keep information. I'm that sort of person who files things. I mean, that's weird. Files the papers. But even in my career, I would keep the emails, I would keep the files in really good order. I would put them in categories, so very detailed. And what would happen? So a scenario in my work would be that someone would be wandering around, let's say it was 2015, and they'd say, do you know, something happened with this corporate client back in 2008, like 7 years ago. And we need to know what it was because we're now doing a legal action case, or we need to understand what happened back then. And they're talking to each other. And then one of them will turn around and say, I don't know, but just ask Linda. And that, when I recalled it, it happened frequently. So even if it was how to do something, how to do a call report, or how to create a new client profile or something, on the computer, then people would come and say, Linda, just go and ask Linda because she'll know how to do it. And invariably I did. I'm not saying I know everything. There's definitely don't know everything. But it's not about the knowledge. It's actually about knowing where to look. Yes. So I know where to look for the information, or I know who to ask for that information, and then I would get back to them with the answer. So it was always just ask Linda. And almost like you can just put mom in there as well, because for my kids it was, what are you having for dinner? Just ask mom.
Oh, shame. Oh, that's awesome. So, I'm going to do it again to you. I'm just going to ask you, what kind of coaching do you do? Because you said you're into business coaching, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Share with us a little bit, because I know there's so many different forms of business coaching. And for me, it's quite intriguing because business coaching isn't just about understanding the management of a business or the background of a business or the mechanics. Where do you fit in with this?
It's an excellent question, because when I started being a business coach, I also realized there are hundreds of different types of coaches. Yes. There's wellness coaches and life coaches and brain-based coaches and strengths coaches. And a lot of people would call themselves a business coach. I think to make it clear, there's a huge focus for me on knowing your numbers. So I work with the small business owner, somebody who's been in business for, let's say, 2 or 3 years. So they're established. They're not the startup, and they're not the big manufacturing organization, and they're definitely not the corporate client.
Yes.
Some coaches work with the leadership and teams, specifically in kind of the bigger businesses. I've found that niche, and it really works, I think, with directly between me and the small business owner. So I have done workshops and webinars, and will continue to do so from an educational point of view for larger groups. But my what really works for me is one-on-one, just like we're doing now, is to
Yes.
have in-person or Zoom call. I have some tools, and primarily the order of events, if you like, would be first to get to know you, get to know what your goals are. There might not be long-term goals, there might be short-term goals, but at least to have some conversation about what is your intention, what are you trying to achieve here? And more than that, actually, one step back from that is, what are your strengths, and is this right for you?
Yes.
So I love working with the strengths. I love working with my own strengths. So I'd like to know what yours are, David, so I can see whether, your chosen career is really a good fit, and I'm not going to tell you it's not, but maybe you'll figure it out for yourself that it's not exactly, or we can have a conversation about how to bring in more of the elements that work best for you in your business. In other words, you start to differentiate your business from the other, magazine editor or interviewer or blog poster.
Yes.
But you don't want to be the same as everyone else. So you've got to find that differentiator. And the best way to find the differentiator is to play to your strengths in particular.
Correct,
So
yes.
that's some of the initial sort of conversations and discussions to set the ground. But then I launched right into the scary bit of numbers. And I would say, 8 out of 10 people that I speak to have no clue about their numbers. Almost no clue. They don't understand what happens to their money every month. They thought they would get rich from this particular venture, but it doesn't appear to be the case. They're putting more and more money into it. And so, I sit and I unpack it. I often
Yes.
say, and apologies to all the accountants out there, I'm not. But I understand accounting. So we take
Yes.
what's there and we break it down into, it's almost so basic, but it's amazing what good results I get with getting to the very basic. Where does the money come from? Where does it go? And then we build up the picture again. And then we say, well, if this is the case, if you're going to spend 20,000 Rand a month, where are you going to get that 20,000 from? How are you going to achieve that? What is your pricing? What is your typical client? How many clients do you need to get? So you see how we start to
Yes.
develop some metrics. You start to develop some things that you can measure. And then my coaching does work right into, how do you get leads? If it's from social media, is it from referrals? Is it from networking? Is it from special offers? There are literally hundreds of ways to get leads, but we want to work on the right ones for your business.
I agree with that. That's cool.
And so it's a very fluid coaching practice that I have. Every single conversation that I have, even though I have the same kind of base, is different.
Yeah, I can't see that one client's ever going to be the same. And, it's the truth what you're saying there is, as a business owner, you actually need to understand where your money is coming from and, like I say, where it's going to, because otherwise it's going to be like a train. It's going to pick up and go that way.
Yep.
And that's not what we want. So, yeah. Oh, no, that's quite awesome. And it's very enlightening to see somebody doing the stuff that other people just don't want to touch, because this is the
Yeah.
scary stuff. This is a point where you can look at yourself and say, you know what? I'm making mistakes. It's time to change. So awesome
Mm,
for that. That's great news. Now,
thanks.
Linda, I want to ask you something, and I'm going to ask you this because this started intriguing me when we were on a call the other night, and I know you said to me it's there. I want you to introduce your Glee Jar, if I'm correct.
Oh, yes, yes,
I want
of
you to
course.
introduce that to the world because, you know, not just fascinated me, it inspired me that I want to do something similar for myself. So I would love it if you can share it with the world.
I will. I will. Here it is. Hope everybody can see it.
Yep.
It's an ordinary jar with a sticker, and I just wrote Glee Jar with a smiley face. Now, what this is, I'll also show you. I'll also show you something else. So this is my Just Ask Linda logo, and you can see in the Just Ask, there's an upside down question mark in red. Now, blue is obviously the color of loyalty and trust and calmness, and these are all characteristics for me. So that's why I chose blue. Blue is a color, as you can see in my top as well, that I go for. But the red, that little bit of red, is to remind me actually to have a little bit of fun and
Oh,
to tell
nice.
that I'm not completely 100% the serious person that I think I am, and often a lot of other people think I am. So it's just a reminder to have a bit of fun. So I came into this idea for a Glee Jar. Actually, it came from, often coaches would talk about, take a journal and write down when something positive occurs, because the more
Yes,
you think positive thoughts, the more positive things happen. It's a fact. It's
it is.
absolute fact. And the opposite is completely true. So I found this jar and I thought, instead of me just writing in a journal, which sort of goes missing from time to time, I will take little colored pieces of paper, these little colored pieces of paper, and I will just write something on it when a good thing happens to me. So this one in particular was just last week, and it says 2 new clients, smiley face.
Awesome.
I put it there, put the date on, and stick it in my Glee Jar. Now, what happens, of course? So this Glee Jar sits in my office, and and we've all had this, especially during COVID. If you're feeling that things are not going quite the way they should, and you're feeling a bit down, and not so positive, then take the jar, open it up, empty the stuff out, read a few, and you'll be back on track. And
Man,
then
that's
also,
awesome.
yeah, the last idea is that at the end of the year, so in December, you do read everything, and you can then celebrate what a brilliant year you had. Even this year, even 2020, I'm going to. There's a lot of things in here that all have something written on them. They're all this year. So, and then I start again from 2021.
Oh, Linda, that is so awesome. You know what? A lot of people have been complaining about 2020, but you know what? It's a year of opportunity. If you're going to look for trouble, you're going to find trouble. If you look for opportunity, you're going to find opportunity. Ah, that is
100%.
awesome. Linda, what I want to do is before we end off, I want to give you the opportunity to share your contact details. Now, you decide what you want to share. If you want to share telephone number, website, email, whatever you want to share it now. But furthermore, we'll take that, we'll put it into our section here. We'll make sure that people can connect with you in the end of the video and in our comments. They will get your details. They can connect with you and speak to you because there's just one question they need to ask you. Just ask Linda. So I'm going to ask you for your details.
Thanks, David. My website's www.justasklinda.co.za. My cell phone number 071-867-5509. My preferred social media is LinkedIn, so you'll find me at Linda Dent, and then Just Ask Linda in inverted commas after it. And I have a Facebook business profile, which is at Just Ask Linda Business Coaching. as well as a personal profile, obviously for lots of pretty pictures like the butterfly behind you. That's what I use that for. I have a YouTube channel, not too many videos, but I'd love to get some more subscribers. It's also Just Ask Linda. And finally, Instagram, which is also, I think, Linda Dent, Just Ask Linda. So literally Google Just Ask Linda, and you should find my business page and all of those links as well.
That's awesome. So if we put it into Google and we say, we want to ask a question, it's not going to say, listen, Google knows. It's going to say, just ask Linda. Just go there. Go and ask her. So that's awesome. Guys, what you'll do is we're going to take Linda's details. We're going to put it down here for you. You have to contact her. If you want to know something, ask her. Ask her kids. Her kids is asking her. So just go and ask her. Spend time with her. Get to know her. This is a coach that's going to change your business. It's going to change your life. Go and speak to her and just enjoy it. Linda, I want to say thank you very much. I know you're extremely busy and you made special time for us today for this interview. We are blessed. We are absolutely blessed to have you. And just your positivity is so well received and we love it. So thank you for that. And I believe everybody will just absolutely adore your message that you're sending out. So thank you for being on the show.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me, David.
Thank you very much. And listeners and viewers, tomorrow we'll be back with another awesome interview. And like I said, contact Linda. You have to ask her and just get connected to her. See you all soon. And thank you very much for being with us.